Hey, welcome back to episode 13, part 3 of Married at First Sight, season 20, review and recap with your girl Shannel. So, we're going to start this episode off. Okay, so we got the matchmakers, they ready to get ready for a group session. All the couples are trying to prepare to get ready to go. They're talking about, what they're going to be expecting at the group session, but we're going to start off this episode with our couple, Mecca and Bella Jolie. Now, today is Bella's birthday. She is knocking on the door. She started off the scene by knocking on the door to Mecca, Mecca, you know, telling Mecca, open the door. What's going on? What's really happening here? Now, um, but what Mecca is doing is he's kind of finishing up his decorating. He decorating, lighting candles and everything like that. So she still continued knocking on the door. Mecca, Mecca. Then Mecca finally said, "Come on in, love. Come on in." And so again, here we go. This is his second time using the word love. He said, "Come in, love." And on part two of this episode, he also, on the one-on-one, he did say that we are loving on each other. So he's used the L word twice already. But the thing about him, he likes to backtrack sometimes when he's put on the spot. But again, he said, come on in, love." And then so Mecca, like, "Here are some flowers." As soon as she walked in, he handed her a big, beautiful bouquet of flowers. He said, "Here are one of many bouquets, because there's many bouquets of flowers in the home that he's decorated for her." And it was just so beautiful. He hands her a very large bouquet, and then as she's walking through the house and she's looking at the decoration, he is singing happy birthday to her. You can see candles everywhere, flowers everywhere, and then all of a sudden the fire alarm goes off. Okay, because he done, baby, the apartment is only so big, and he done lit so many candles. He had a trail of candles. He lit like 20 something candles on her birthday cake. So I guess the fire smoke alarm couldn't handle it, baby. So he went and grabbed a dish rag and started fanning. And then Bella was like, "No, let's like grab a pillow." And everybody know in a black household, baby, I know that's what we do. Baby, if the smoke alarm goes off, baby, you grab the biggest pillow that you can find, one usually on the couch, and just start swinging it at the alarm that you feel is going off. Everybody knows to do that. But for some reason, Mecca tried to grab a little dish rag and try to do it. It's like, boy, stop. So Bella Jolie went and grabbed the pillow and she stopped the alarm from going off. And then she gets back into what was going on in her environment, which is her birthday. And then she was like, "Oh," she said, "it's beautiful." And then Mecca was like, "There's a bag right there." She was like, "Oh, girl." She's like, "I was itching to come over here to this bag." Okay. Because it was just like a lot. It was like, again, it was decorated very beautiful. It was a lot going on. And so her eyes were just all over the place. And then so he directed her over to a bag. He said, "Go to that bag right there." And then she opened up the bag and then she brings out some hot Cheetos. Girl, love me some hot Cheetos. And then so she was like, "Oh my God, all my angry foods." So I guess those are foods she eat when she get angry or whatever. And she just want to relieve herself, calm herself down. She like a good old bag of hot Cheetos. So it was a big bag of Cheetos and stuff like that. So it seemed like it was several Cheetos and different type of snacks in there. And so she called them her angry foods. And then he was like, and then he picks up a box that has a black ribbon on it, and then he hands it to her. He says, "Here you go." And then she's like, "Oh my God, Mecca!" And then so as she opened the box, she opened up, and then she sees all this little cute little pink purse. It was pink and blue, I think, and it was just a cute little small little bag, very cute. It was cute. You can tell it fits her style, and because it goes perfect with the outfit that she gonna wear to the group session. But so she looks at the bag. She opened the bags up and look in it. Then he goes into the bag and he like, "Yeah, and you can switch it up if you want to. You can wear it on your shoulder, or you can just wear it as a handbag, whichever one you want. You got options." And so she's fighting back tears at this point. She's so happy. And then he gives her a box of perfume, and as she's opened up the perfume, that's when the tears start to flow, because she realized not only did he go all out for her birthday, but he's been listening. So clearly, she asked for that purse, and he got it. She asked for a certain type of perfume, he got it. She noticed that the snacks that she eat, he picked up all of them. He got it. So he definitely been listening, paying attention to her. So Belle is fighting back tears of joy. And then some beautiful slow music starts to play. I don't think it was playing so called in their environment. It was just for us to hear, to let us know this is a sentimental moment. And the tears are here, baby. The tears are flowing. And so Mecca is fully engaged. He's smiling while she's opening her gifts. Bella, at this point, she's so overjoyed with emotions that she just stopped opening the gifts and then just goes and jumps on him, and they fall over the couch together. She gives him a huge hug, and then she just holds him. And while she's feeling her emotion, she's feeling her emotion, and he's smiling because he's so happy, because that's what he wanted. He wanted her to feel special on her birthday, because she said before that even though she was beyond poor growing up, one thing that her mom always did was to make sure that her siblings always were celebrated on their birthday. They always felt special on their birthday, even though they have no running water, no electricity, living in one room shacks, no food, eating toothpaste for dinner. On birthdays, you're going to feel special. And I think that is something that he paid so much attention to. He was listening, and he really fulfilled her wishes and her dreams for that day. And so she said, um, I haven't experienced anything like this before, which means telling me, she experienced it with her mom, but she never experienced it probably to this magnitude. And she probably never experienced that when it came to a relationship. Because, men always act like they forget your birthday. They wasn't listening. They get you something that you didn't ask for. So she said that she just probably never had anybody, this how I took it, that she never had anybody to listen to her before and to give her all the things that she asked for, wished for, and to make her feel so special on this day like that. And so and she said and definitely, she said it wasn't, she said it's definitely overwhelming, to feel all these emotions. She said, but it wasn't even about the gifts at all. He was his thoughtfulness. It was his thoughtfulness. And that's just such a girl thing to say, because we girls really, really care about the thought. We always say it's the thought that counts. The thought is he thought about you. He listened to you. He went out all day and implemented all of these things that he heard from you, and made sure that he did it. Okay. And it's simple things like even the candles. He had to stop at the store and get the right candles. And some stores don't have everything you need. You got to go to another store. He stopped at probably multiple flower shops to get the flowers. Then he had to think about what type of flowers she liked, then the colors. And it's so much thought that went into this birthday. And she was just like, he's so thoughtful. He is really listening to me. And it was like, she like, it's like a fairy tale. And I just felt so emotional for her. I felt so happy for her. I felt everything that she was feeling in that moment, because we as girls, we love gifts, of course we do, but it's always, and people don't get it, it's the thought. It's the thought that you put into it that matters so much. And he did actually put so much thought into it. And so kudos to Mecca for making Belle feel so special on her birthday, because I know for a fact she's gonna do the same thing for him. And so she's like, he is so amazing. And then Mecca, he raises his eyebrows, and she's like, oh Lord. She's like, I know when you raise those eyebrows, you about to start on some BS with me. And girl, she one line. And then so Mecca, he said, with everything that I've done tonight, okay, from the flowers to the candy to the snacks to the purse to the perfume to everything, he said, is it right to say that you are madly in love with me, and that you are madly in love with me right now? You love me, don't you? And Belle was like, you think so? And then Mecca was like, well, those are the emotions that I want to evoke from you. I think I've succeeded. And then she was like, I'll say it's creeping up to the neighborhood, okay? Because right now we are off Friendship Avenue, where you are in the neighborhood. She's like, where are you in the neighborhood? Now let's break that down a little bit. Now he said, what he want to know is, are you really happy? Are you happy about what's just happened here? And with your happiness, do you feel that you have more emotions for me when it comes to love? Do you love me at this point? Because again, he already done said the L word twice, kind of behind her back. He said it twice. He said that we are loving each other, and he said, come in love. So he's using the L word. Okay, he's so used to being rejected from the women he loved. He thinking that if he say it, that it's gonna be conflict, or that she's not going to return the favor. And she feel the same way with him. She feel like, I'm not going to say it first because I'm used to initiating this type of stuff, and then when I initiate it, the men act like they just, it scares them so much to be loved, or I'm doing too much, so she's scared to do it too. And so he really want to say, how do you feel about me? Do you feel love right now? Because what he's pretty much, and I'm picking up from what he's putting down, he said, what I just did for you is an act of love. And it really is. It's beyond saying the L word. He acted in love. Love is an action word. And he actually was showing that he loved her, because just by listening, by implementing, by putting it all together, that's love right there. And so he wanted to know where she was with it. But because she is skeptical about what happened in her past, and even dealing with him, she know that she can't move too fast, because he already told her that he feels like she is 150% more attracted to him, and he's only 80% attracted to her. So that hurt her feeling off top. Why he felt the need to say that, I don't understand. I still don't get why he said that, because it was so uncalled for. It was so unnecessary, and it was even mean spirited, if you ask me. Now I feel like with him that, he probably said that because he felt like that she is in a place where he is not. And he could have just honestly said that. He could have said, I feel like you are at this level with me, and I may be at this level. Even though I want to be at this level with you, I'm just not there yet. He could have said it in a more mature way, but he did say it, and it was mean spirited, I think, when he said that to her. So now she kind of scared to say anything back to him. And plus, he felt rejected when she didn't kiss him at the wedding. And she immediately jumped into it, like, even though she rejected him at the wedding, so he say, then she immediately like went into my man, my man, my man. And he was like, well, you can't my man, my man, my man to somebody you just rejected. So they always on different playing fields when it comes to their relationship. It's like they very much childish when it comes to a relationship, if you will. Now, but she was like, he was like, well, those are the emotions I want to evoke from you. He said, I think I succeeded. My thing is, sir, don't worry about evoking emotions from her. Worry about the emotions that you have for her and express those to her. Be strong enough and to stand up on how you truly feel. Don't worry about how she feels, because you the type of person that want her to say I love you just for you to say, well, yeah, I don't really love you. And it's just like, see, now you trying to get hurt. Okay, so it's just like, just express what you feel about it. But he wasn't doing that. He was trying to kind of gaslight her into saying it when he know he really truly kind of feel it. He just want to know, see where she's staying. Well, she said, well, I'm not quite there in the neighborhood of love. She said, I'm still on Friendship Boulevard. And I think that that was a lie that she said as well. And I feel like she was protecting herself, but at the same time, she's not on Friendship Boulevard. She do got feelings for this man, especially after what he did, but she's scared to say it. And I feel like by her saying Friendship Avenue, she set them back a little bit. Now he's pushing back now, because he's like, friendship? What you mean by friendship? He didn't say that, but I feel like that's what was going on in his head. And she was like, well, where are you? In other words, I just said where I'm standing. Where are you in the neighborhood? He said, well, in the neighborhood of love, shoot. He said, I don't know. For me, I feel very, very strongly for someone, but still not love them. Ugh, here go another awkward moment. One thing Becca gonna do is gonna make some things awkward. Okay, it's already bad enough he wearing black fingernail polish. Okay, that's already bad enough. But he's very awkward. He's giving me that he probably dated women of another race. Yeah, I don't think he ever just really dated a sister. That's what I'm picking up with him. And I feel like, he's looking for something that's he's very alternative, very awkward, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, it's just like, you didn't handle this right. Okay, so you saying that, you can feel very, very strongly for someone, but still not love them. Uh, That's something wrong with you. That's something wrong with you. That's weird to me. And then so Belle was like, well, what will be the difference between having strong feelings for someone versus, just putting it into words of love? And then he was like, well, damn. I don't think it would be much of a difference, to be honestly. Yeah, exactly. So if you have very strong, strong feelings for someone, that is a form of love. Okay. Are you madly in love to the point that you would take a bullet for them? Probably not. but you still have love for them as a form of love. You just act like you don't understand what love is. You definitely do. Okay. And the coaches are gonna definitely say that to him. He definitely know what love is, and he needs to stop acting like he don't. Okay. He's just afraid of it. And so they both right now are kind of like gazing in each other's eyes. They're smiling and they're speaking about warm feelings in the air. They saying how they feel warm and fuzzy. They feeling cinnamon, um, warm cookies and all these warm feelings that you would feel from a grandmother or from environments that you can just tell that you're just comfortable, you're safe, you are being loved. Okay, so they are expressing love in so many alternative type of ways. Okay, and so they pretty much saying that love is in the air, but they both are afraid to admit it. And then Mecca said, now at this point, we are pulling up on Love Boulevard. So Mecca wants so bad to say that he loved Bella. He do. He have his moments that he want to, and then right when you think he's there and he's finally understanding, then he'll pull back again. And I think that's a personality disorder that he has picked up over the years of being rejected. And so, but I do think deep down he do love Belle. He just, afraid of, and Belle is afraid to show him as well because she know how he'll do. It's just so simple. Now we go on over here to our couple, baby. This is the first time they've been shown on this episode. Nikki and Sean. Now they over here at some type of, um, I guess, store, and they sniffing fragrances. So it's some type of candle bar that they are at. Okay, so Nikki, she smells something that Sean is giving her. He was like, smell this, and she was like, this smells piney. She said, I could see that being somewhere in the house. Like I can use that somewhere. I could see that burning somewhere in the house. And then Sean was like old underwear. I'm so tired of Sean. It's just like right when I try to give him the benefit of the doubt, I try to look at him from a different perspective. I try to, understand where he's coming from. Then he'll say something stupid like old underwear. Sean, you almost 50 years old. Please grow up and learn how to communicate properly. Because, like I said, you are a intelligent man. Please act like it when it comes to some things that you say. He's so quick to go back some type of inappropriate way when it comes to sexual acts and stuff like that. He just always just get on my last nerve when he do stuff like that. And so Nikki was feeling warm and fuzzy. Then now after he said, talking about we can use this on underwear. Now she's looking at him like, okay, here you go again. Here you go again. So Nikki looks very concerned after he says that. She's like, is that what you are into? And then they sit down and they start having a corporate conversation at this point because he done took the romance out of it. Okay, the little warm and feeling that she was having from smelling that piney type of smell that he showed her, she's no longer into that now. So she done went back and clocked in. She clocked into the relationship, aka the corporate relationship that they have together. And so she started talking about money, finances, and earnings. And then so he started nodding like a board member. And then so he says, um, do you want to hear a synopsis about it? Here he go. He done clocked in. She done clocked in. Okay, so she was like, yeah, she said, I'm thinking about separate and shared accounts, and then we can keep some type of mental spreadsheet about each account. Okay. And then Sean comes in and he says, well, I feel that the wife should have access to all accounts, to everything. He said money is an expression of your hard work and your commitment and building family with wealth, because he don't plan to work for the next he don't want to plan to work forever. He said he want to get to the point where he's allows his money to start to work for him, that he's made enough money where they can successfully start to live a life of comfort and leisure versus just working all the time. So, and he feel like that she should have access to everything, because she was talking about a separate account and shared account. He was like, well, yeah, you can have access to my separate and shared account, because money is something that we are building together to build our legacy, aka if we have children, when we travel. He wants to invest in real estate. And Nikki starts to smile, okay, because the corporate side of her loves to hear that. So she starts to smile again. And she stated that she and Sean are very much aligned when it comes to a lot of things, aka when it comes to that corporate style of relationship. When they clock into the relationship on a corporate level, they really do make a lot of sense, and they work well together, and they both agree, on a lot of things when it comes to their corporate relationship. The only thing that they don't agree on is their sexual relationship, because like I said, Sean gonna make it awkward and uncomfortable, and Nikki just says she ain't into it like that because she's just not that attracted to Sean. But she do understand that Sean is that they do have a lot in common. They do align on a lot of things. She do acknowledge that. She claims she is sapiosexual, which means she can get aroused and turned on by just conversation and intellectual things. So she do feel Sean on those type of levels. And she also said that she wants to speak more on growing their romantic relationship. She wants to do that, especially when Sean started talking about investing in real estate, having vacation homes, and having second home, third homes, vacation homes, making money off real estate. Baby, Nikki was smiling from ear to ear. Okay, you hear me? Nikki was very much aroused, and she said she just wants this to go onto a romantic thing so that they can kind of have the full dynamic of their relationship. And I think that is a real thing. A corporate relationship where you sleep together is I see a lot of relationships that's like that. And it works for them. It works for them. They understand it. Because I don't think a traditional man or woman will understand that corporate talk. And I think they both get aroused off of that. They get turned on that they both talking their talk and walking their walk. They like that. So that may be a thing for them. I think that may be it for them. Because Nikki, again, she made sure that she let us know that she has been in a relationship with men that she is very much attracted to, and they didn't treat her well. They didn't treat her right. She not with them. But she said there is something about Sean that she could see, maybe something in the long term when it comes to them. And I hope that they can get it together, honey. Now, uh, next thing we have is Devin and Caitlin. Now, everybody right now at this point are starting to get ready for the group session. And so you'll see little moments of them talking about what they expect at the group session. So Devin comes in and he says, "Do you think tonight we are in a better place than last time?" And then here come Caitlin. I can't even remember. I don't even remember last time. I don't remember nothing about it. It's like, Caitlin, grow up. Okay, please pay attention. And then Devin says, "Well, I feel I'm in a better place." He said, "I feel like we're both in a better place." And Caitlin said, "Well, that makes me feel more confident." Okay, well, good. And then Devin says, "The thing is, I micro analyze everything." And then she was like, "You micro analyzing?" So this is her first joke. So Caitlin gave her first joke. Y'all give it up for her. And so they start laughing and stuff like that. Then they switch over to the next couple. They was laughing, and which is something that we haven't seen them do in a long time. And then we go over to um, the perfect couple with imperfections. Okay, so they were speaking and preparing for the group session as well. Michelle is over there curling her hair, trying to get her hair together. And then Cameron says um, he wants to know if Marissa has picked up her pickleball game for Adam satisfaction. And then Michelle starts to laugh. So again, they're not even really talking about their relationship. They feel like they ain't got nothing to talk about. So they too busy worrying about everybody else in their relationship. And then Cameron was like, he ain't got time for the BS this time. He said this time when he go into to this session, he want everybody to keep it real. He said he ain't time for the BS and stuff like that. It's like, well, Cameron, please take your own advice. Okay, please tell the doctors how you over there want to push Michelle away so bad because of your own deep depression and your own inner thoughts about being married for 30 years. But when you two worry about everybody else, honey, worry about yourself. you know but of course they're perfect, so we're going to go ahead and ignore that they have any problems. So the matchmakers are getting ready and getting prepared for the group session. They want all the couples to come in. They're going to set the tone of what they expect from all the couples. So the group session starts, everybody starts to walk in, everybody's coming in, greeting everybody, and kind of semi catching up and then taking their seats. And then so the matchmakers set the agenda. They said today we only have a few weeks until decision day, and we just need to know where everyone stands. We want to know the truth. Okay, are you truly building a marriage? Okay, so Paul says we are here to share our truths, but but we want to know, how do you respond to those truths? Okay, whether they're good or bad, we need to talk about them, and we need to know how you're going to respond to it. He want to know, do you shut down when we start talking about it, or do you fight? Um, Fight or flight, which is a natural inclination to be defensive, and instead to lean in and to be curious. He wants to know, he really wants everybody to lean into their relationship and be curious about each other, because again, that's all you have is that curiosity, because you don't know each other. Be curious about learning about each other. He said that is the key to doing things. And then he said he wants you to just take in what we are saying. And then we want to know how you handle the hardness, okay, in this room. It determines how you're going to manage your marriage out there. So if you can't handle the hard truths in here, you're not going to handle the hard truths of your marriage on the outside world. He said tonight, be prepared to decide if you are all in or are you all out. He says, so with that note, and with that being said, let's start off with our first couple today. And our first couple, of course, is Nick and Courtney. So he want to talk more about what's going on with them. Now, Courtney starts off, she just jumped straight in. She said, we've been having difficult conversations, which can make a relationship stronger. She said, Nick and I had a conversation, and I thought the convo would go well, but it totally went not very well. She said, all I want Nick to do is to feel like he can, be his true self to me. And then Nick chimes in. He said, I don't know if you are being genuine. That's what he said. I don't know if you're being genuine. He said, you are not being genuine from my point of view or on my level of comfort in this relationship for me to even share my emotions with you. He said, but I'm not putting on a show, or I'm not even reading from a script. He said, not this time. Okay, not this time. He said, he's not. He said, I'm not putting on any act for you. He said, I'm being myself. You keep on saying I'm not being myself, but I am. And then um, Paul chimes in. He said, well, do you feel you put in more effort when working on the relationship than Courtney does? And then Nick comes in. He thinks about it for a minute. He takes a long pause. And then he said, well, I don't know if I would say more. He said, I see a lot of effort that Courtney's puts in. And I like how he don't dismiss Courtney. I like how he took the time to think about this. And he said that, no, I wouldn't say that I put in more, because Paul tried to set him up, baby. He's like, because if you know that this girl don't be playing with Nick like that. So if Nick was to say that he put in more effort, Courtney would have snapped on him immediately. Okay. But it took a minute. And so Paul had set him up, but he got himself out of it. He said, I don't know if I would say I put in more. I do see a lot of her effort that she's putting in, and that Courtney is putting in a lot of work. He said, and don't want to discredit that at all. He said, I do think that my effort is not being recognized. And that is true. His effort is not being recognized, because Courtney claims she don't see it, and really I don't see it either. But I ain't dating him. So Paul comes in. He said, "Well, do you feel you have a strong romantic relationship or some type of connection?" Okay, and that's a good question, Paul. He said, you saying you put in effort, you saying that Courtney putting in effort, but do you feel like y'all are romantically connected, which is important in a relationship, especially a marriage? And then, so here go Courtney. She was like, I don't know. And then shakes her head no. She said, I don't know, but then she shook her head no, which means that's conflicting type of answer. You said you don't know, but you do know. You know there's no romance there because your head is saying no. And then Nick comes in. He said, I think we are super compatible in a lot of ways as friends. And I respect so many things about her. She has so many great traits, but I think romantically, maybe we haven't found it yet. And will come with time. In other words, baby, we're going to just stay into the show, baby. Go ahead and get that credit. And then maybe it'll come. When Nick know it's not going to come, but maybe he is hopeful. I don't know, but it's just like, I don't see it, baby, because all Courtney want to do is get her rocks off by cussing you out. And then you get scared and flee. So that's not it. And then Miss Lisa comes in and says, well, Paul, and Paul, she's like, Paul and I want to start calling the blocks. Okay. She won't bring you to the block, and she's gonna call you out about being likable, and that it is different from wanting to build a relationship. She's like, because everybody in this room is likable. Yeah, everybody here is likable. I like you, you like, we like each other. She was like, but it's a difference from being romantic. And Paul and I are calling y'all out this time, and we need y'all to. It's go beyond being liked, okay? Because this is a marriage, and so you need to build something stronger than that. And then so Courtney comes back in. She's like, I don't feel I can be enough for him. uh, you can't speak for that man, girl. Just say that he ain't enough for you. Say that, because that's the truth of the matter. You don't know, because like you say, you don't know him. He's not opening up to you, so you don't know if you're enough. Now that's maybe your insecurities talking, but you can only speak for yourself. Just say that he's not enough for you. And then Nick said, well, I still see value in being here. He said, I could stay and learn a lot about myself, but I feel that's not fair to Courtney. And then so Miss Lisa come back in. She's like, I don't feel you know what the work on it is. And then Courtney was like, touche. Exactly. Everybody started nodding because Lisa is right. Okay. Because he's talking about, I feel like, I can work on myself and get to know myself and stuff like that. Nicholas, okay, Nick Tavius. Listen, it's not about you. It's about the couple that you're creating here, that you're building on, the marriage. Okay, do you feel that you and Courtney can work on something solid? Do you feel like this marriage is something that is worth working on or not? That's what Lisa wants to know. And Lisa said she called him out on it, and she's like, even if I was to ask you what you want to work on, I don't feel like you would even know. And I agree with Miss Lisa. Miss Lisa is telling the truth. Dr. Lisa, she is on it tonight. Okay. And then so Nick was like, well, that's valid. He said, I'm not clear. So at least he didn't lie about it. He did. He said, Miss Lisa, you right. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You right. And I'm not clear on it. Okay. Because if you was to ask me what I needed to work on, baby, I ain't got no answer for you. Okay. So I appreciate Nick being honest finally. Then here go Courtney. She was like, you could be clear if you listen to me. In other words, like, what? Courtney, you not this boy mom. This boy got a mama and a daddy that love him. Okay. And you ain't them. Yeah, you definitely don't be showing no love. She talking about he would be clear if he just listened to her. No, if he listened to himself, okay? You need to listen to yourself. He said, she said, I think about us and you, but you thinking about how you can be better. It's life. F you. F off. Then she started throwing the F word here and there, baby, everywhere. F's for you, F's for Nick, F's for everybody. Well, mainly F's for Nick, okay? So she started dropping the F bomb, and then at this point, honey, the matchmakers are shocked, baby. They can't believe what they just saw. Okay, uh, and, Paul and Belle, okay, because Miss Belle was like, "Oh my goodness," they look shocked. Okay. And then now Paul and Bella over there looking very shocked. But then Miss Lisa was like, she was nodding. Like she agreed with Courtney. Like, right. Like I like that. And I'm like, Miss Lisa, you like a little toxic too? She was just saying, call it out. Okay. And then so um Courtney continues, okay? She ain't stopping right there. Okay, because so Nick blinks. Okay, he blinks about 4 times because he can't believe that she's showing this part of herself in front of the matchmakers. And then Adams looks at Felipe, and then Felipe look back at Adam. Okay, and then they look back at Nick. Okay, and then Felipe look back. Okay, so everybody just looking at everybody. Everybody just want to know, hey, what's going on. Okay, everybody's so concerned about what's going on. Okay, in this group session. And then so we go on back over there to old Nick and Cameron, Nick and Courtney, and then so continue. So of course, Courtney continues to snap and say it hurts so bad. And it's like, man, if it hurts so bad, why aren't you feeling so sad, baby? Well, you ain't showing no tears. You just dropping F bombs, okay? And then Nick said, I agree. It's not fair to you. Thank you, Nick. Okay, because baby, she about to go in on you. You hear me? And then so Miss Lisa goes back. She was like, so what are we doing? What are we doing here at this point? I just want to know. And then Courtney says, I don't know. I don't know. And then Paul says, well, I'm curious. Would you like to end your marriage tonight? Dun dun dun. Baby, that ends the episode right there. Yeah, they need to end it tonight, Paul, Lisa. Yeah. Okay, y'all was right to go ahead and start off with them. Get them up out of here, baby. Get them out the paint if that's what they decide. But they don't make a decision right now. Okay, so they go on to episode 14 where they're gonna make the decision. So make sure you tune back in to episode 14, baby, because it's about to get juicy and hot up in here. You hear me? So, girl, catch me on the next one. I'll talk to you later.